Hi, I'm Luke Bronin, Mayor of the City of Hartford and President of the Board of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. One of the most important responsibilities of local government and state government together is the delivery of quality education to our kids. Connecticut has a long history of delivering quality education, and it's vital to keeping the quality of life in our communities strong, attracting residents and retaining residents, and of course, preparing the workforce of the future so that we can grow economically. It's a shared responsibility of both state and local government because we've got a long history of local control when it comes to education. But the state has a constitutional obligation under our state constitution to ensure the delivery of quality education to all of our kids. The financial responsibility is also shared. About half of the $12 billion that's invested in education each year comes from local governments, and that means from property tax. The other half comes from the state, and it comes in a number of different forms, most importantly, through the state's education cost sharing formula. The education cost sharing formula is a vital form of state investment in education. But CCM has long focused on improving and strengthening that formula and fighting for more resources for the ECS. The education cost sharing formula often does not adjust when there are changes in a district, like the size of a student body. It also does not appropriately take into account the additional needs and the additional resources that have to be dedicated when there is a high concentration of learners with special education needs, English language learners, students growing up in poverty. As an organization, CCM has continually pressed for more resources to be dedicated to the education cost sharing formula and to make sure that our communities with the greatest needs receive appropriate investment.
There is also the excess cost grant, which helps with special education costs. Special education costs account for a significant portion of the overall education spending in Connecticut. Statewide, special education costs exceed $1.8 million annually and continue to rise. Towns and cities pay for about 60% of those costs. Unforeseen demands for special education services too often result in local budget adjustments, supplementary appropriations, and other extraordinary measures. This is particularly troublesome in smaller towns, where the addition of even one special needs student can decimate a budget. The excess cost grant fails to address these fluctuations. In addition, the grant fails to look at the needs of students, but rather only examines a town's ability to pay. This misguided approach not only impacts students, but also property taxpayers.
Now, towns have an obligation too. It's called the minimum budget requirement, which means that towns cannot just reduce the amount that they spend on education and expect to keep getting the same amount from the state. There's some logic to that, but also that there may be times when it's appropriate to provide some flexibility. For example, if a district is shrinking, that's another issue where CCM has engaged in the past.
Other constraints on schools include curriculum mandates imposed by the legislature. Each year, new additions are made to the curriculum. These are made without the funding to support the resources or staff time to implement those new requirements. While well-intended, a balance needs to occur to ensure our teachers do not become strained beyond what they already are. Our local education system also has other considerations and challenges that must be met. This includes providing for early childhood, school readiness programs, vocational and agricultural schools. In addition, town and city leaders must provide a safe and healthy environment to learn.
Now, the other issue that we have to address when we talk about education is the effect that the COVID pandemic had on kids. There is no question that the pandemic had a profound effect on young people, and districts of every kind and every size are wrestling with the challenge of re-engaging our young people, helping them recover, reconnect, heal, and show up fully present in our classrooms. We've been fortunate to get a lot of support from the federal government to help with this recovery. But the truth is there's a cliff coming when many of those resources will go away. And so as we look to continue this long-term work of helping our kids recover and re-engage and succeed in the wake of this pandemic, we need to make sure that we as communities are staying focused in partnership with our state legislature and the governor to make sure that we make the investments necessary, because this isn't the work of a semester or a summer or a school year. This is going to be the work of year after year after year to make sure that we get our kids back on track and continue to deliver the high quality education that our state has long been known for.